like me for white rice.
Good morning. This meeting is now called to order. Welcome to the 48th United Annual Meeting of the members of United Laguna Woods Mutual, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. It's Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, 9:30 a.m. We're in the boardroom and virtual. We have a quorum present. And we'll start now with the Pledge of Allegiance by Director Vittori.
Please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are on TV6, is broadcasting this, also available on Zoom and Granicus. Any other media present? Don't see any. Move to item number 4, the approval of the agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Cash, a second? Maggie? Are there any suggested changes to the agenda? Are there any objections to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved by consent. The minutes of last year's meeting are included for reference only. There's no action required on that. We'll therefore move to the remarks, item number 6. I want to take a moment to thank all the United members who participated over the last year in United meetings, committee meetings, ad hoc committees, and those that have provided comments and suggestions over the year. Your involvement as members is very important, and it makes our community better. I'd also like to thank VMS staff for their dedication and hard work. We really appreciate it. And a special thank you to my fellow board members. They contribute an immense amount of time to serve the individuals and the United Mutual as a whole. They put in an awful lot of time and effort. And at the conclusion of this meeting, we'll also have a United Organization meeting following this to elect the board officers for the coming year. So at this time, I would like to introduce those directors with expiring terms. So we have 4 expiring terms with 3 of the directors leaving the board. As I call your name, if you would just raise your hand or stand up, just so you can be recognized. Cash Akrakar. Cash has served 2 full terms and has been on numerous committees over the last 6 years, so really appreciate all Cash's efforts. Azar Skari. Azar has served as our United Treasurer and spearheaded many items over the last year. She'll be also leaving the board. Sue Quam. Sue has filled the term of a board vacancy this last year and will be returning to the board as elected board member. And then Lenny Ross. Lenny has served as the United Board President this last year. Time-consuming office. And so we'd like to thank all of you for the many, many hours of work as a board member. As you leave these board chairs, I would like to applaud you for your dedicated service. With that, several board members are turning off their phones now. So we'll go ahead to the introduction of continuing directors. We have Maggie Blackwell, Allison Bach, Pearl Lee, Anthony Lubatori, myself, Tom Tuning, Vidya Kale, who is unable to be here today, and we also have a vacant seat on the board. And I'd just like to remind you that applications are now being accepted to fill this vacancy, and qualified candidates may secure an application and instructions from the corporate secretary, Michaela, or Assistant Corporate Secretary Paul, in the office of the CEO. Completed applications must be received at the community center no later than 5 p.m. on Friday, October 20th. The election to fill this vacancy will be held during a United Special Open Vacancy Selection Meeting on Monday, October 30th at 10:30 a.m. here in the Community Center Boardroom. And with that, I'd like to introduce our newly elected directors for a 3-year term. So, as you know, counting of the ballots was conducted on September 29th. So as I call your name, I'd like you to stand up and be recognized. And I would ask all of these new directors have a term that expires in 2026. We have Nancy Carlson, Georgiana Willis, Mickey Choi Ho, and Sue Kwong. So welcome to our new United Directors. So at this time, we'll have member comments. At this time, members may address the Board of Directors regarding items within the jurisdiction of this Board of Directors. There is maximum time limit of 3 minutes per speaker, and the speaker may only address the board once during this period. The board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted for members. So before that starts, we'll seat the new board members and say goodbye to the existing board members that are leaving.
Adios.
So, come forward, Nikki.
Yeah.
Come forward.
So Georgiana, Mickey,
Come forward.
Nancy,
Take your seats.
please come up and
See you later.
Am I staying here? Yeah. Okay.
okay. Michaela, are you Nicole?
Yep, we are ready for member comments. First speaker is Gabe Page.
Morning, everyone. Welcome, new board members. At the September 12th board meeting, I presented an overview of self-management versus professional accredited HOA management. I recommended that the board establish an ad hoc committee comprised of residents to conduct a cost-benefit analysis of self-management versus professional HOA management. Since we now have new board members seated, I'm here to ask that this topic be added to the November 14th board agenda. We're living in unprecedented times with ever-growing economic concerns, forces trying to tear down democracies around the world, climate change, and the list goes on. Taking these issues into the microcosm of our village, our HOA faces its own economic issues, effects from climate change, and governance challenges. We have established an extremely complex governance structure with an enormous budget that needs careful monitoring and oversight. Given your day-to-day responsibilities and the number of meetings you're required to attend as board members, you personally don't have the time to conduct an in-depth analysis necessary to give us an objective picture of where the village actually stands financially and operationally. But you do need that information to make informed decisions to uphold your due diligence and fiduciary responsibilities as board members. I have a proposal that will inform your decision-making and help our village plan for the future. Further, I'm here to volunteer to be your adjunct staff and lead the project. However, I need more than 3 minutes to present the proposal and allow time for your questions and discussion. Therefore, I ask that this topic be added to the November 14th board agenda. And I will distribute a handout to help you prepare your questions for that discussion. But I do have one more item that I'd like to bring to your attention that I believe we may be in error regarding what our bylaws say regarding elections and where we are with this vacant seat. In reviewing our bylaws, it's one of the clauses says that if the members fail to elect a sufficient number of directors at a meeting or election, then we have a vacancy. However, at the time of our election, we had 5 vacancies. We did vote as members to fill all those seats. We had sufficient numbers to fill the vacancies at that time, and therefore I believe we should not be having a special election because our members already voted to seat a full board. So I think we may be in conflict with our bylaws on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gay.
Next speaker is Vera Holder.
Thank you. In preparing for addressing you today, I spent time reviewing some of the village's archival history collection, and I was even able to locate my unit from an old black and white aerial photograph. I admire and appreciate those of you who have taken the oath of your office. The fact that you're sitting in those chairs is a testament to your belief that this village is worth countless hours of your time, combined with a desire to make and maintain this an enviable community. Needless to say, the vision of this village was and remains admirable. But along with vision comes heavy responsibility. I stand in support of the aforementioned creation of a resident review committee to evaluate self-management versus professional accredited HOA management, and further, for Gay Page to present a proposal as an agenda item for November 14th, 2020. To be clear, I am neither an opponent or a proponent of either system. I'm fully aware there are residents in this room on this very board who work tirelessly, thanklessly, and dedicatedly to do the hard work in making the last management transition. And I'm humbled by your work. What I am for is best practices, and that means a genuine examination of where we are today and where we are headed, and that can only be accomplished with an in-depth analysis. In short, the board would be performing due diligence. I am fully aware that passions on this topic run deep on both sides. I get it. But failing to perform self-study only propagates misunderstandings, speculations, also known as rumors, and further perpetuates an us versus them mentality. I urge the board to open dialogue on having this subject as an agenda item next month. Thank you.
Next speaker is Azar Asghari.
Okay, hello again. As a resident, first I would like to congratulate the new board members. Always new faces and minds can create hope and fresh ideas for meaningful change. Second, gratitude is due to all seated directors for their volunteer time to do good for our community. And last, as a few minutes former director, I would like to ask the board members to please give all your attention to the content of any new idea or any motion. Please don't evaluate the idea by the identity of presenter. Please base your support or your objection of an idea upon facts and research rather than your emotional feeling for each other or for a person. Your feeling regarding a presenter of an idea should not affect the value of the idea. When the United Board passes a motion, approximately 12,000 United residents will be affected by that motion. And if a good motion fails, residents do not receive the potential benefit of it. One example will suffice for now. Last year, a motion was made to create all meetings in a hybrid format, which later became mandatory by civil code. A hybrid meeting means directors and residents can attend a meeting in person or online. The motion was passed after lots of oppositional argument by 4 directors. However, a director who was initially against hybrid meeting and once argued that all directors should physically be at the board meeting has been using Zoom many times since last year. By using Zoom, the director was able to do board obligated duties while visiting grandchildren out of state, while taking care of a family member at home, and even while driving a car. The moral of this example is when each of you know the value of the good idea, please put your ego aside and think of the beneficial for all United members. Anytime the board saves time, energy, and money, the benefit passes to our residents. I trust that this newly constituted board will value our residents and their needs as top priority. After all, they are all the ones who fund board and BMS budget and have activated their trust by their vote. Thank you. And I was under 3.
Next speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning. Chris Collins, 3306Q. I'm here with an update on the work of the foundation, which is on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Planning for the inevitable. Why estate planning? Do you think that estate planning is only for the wealthy? Are you concerned that estate planning is a long and labor-intensive process? Have you avoided estate planning for these reasons? If your answer is yes, the foundation of Laguna Woods Village has a second televised broadcast on the subject of planning for the inevitable, which will provide practical guidance. It will focus on estate planning issues confronting older adults. It will be aired on Village Television starting October 7th at 12 noon, and it will continue on Saturdays for the entire month of October. If you want to view this broadcast on your own schedule, it's also available on the foundation website, which is foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org, and it's under a special tab, which is Planning for the Inevitable. The website section includes the YouTube links for this broadcast and our earlier one, which was on advanced directives. Tune in and hear Faye Blix, who is a local elder law attorney. She is an elder law attorney since 1984 and the founder of the Elder Law section of the Orange County Bar Association. According to Faye, a common misconception is that estate planning is only for the wealthy. During the broadcast, she explains what can go wrong if you do not have an estate plan, what problems can result from probate, and some specific issues that can be involved in estate planning, like underage beneficiaries or the caring of a disabled child. Most important, she explains the estate planning is an ongoing process, a continuum that begins while you're alive. She emphasizes the need that we need to plan for the possibility of incapacity as part of the estate planning, and discusses some immediate steps that we can take to address this possibility. If you have any questions about this topic or the upcoming broadcast, please contact the foundation at 949-268-2246 or the foundation at comline.com. For more information about the foundation, please go to our website, which is thefoundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org. And please note that donations can always be made using Pen Pal or the foundation website. Thank you.
Next speaker is Nikki Polanski.
Good morning to all. And I am coming here to ask for help. And I have a flood patio in my house, and due to the rain, and I have called several times, and someone came in and looked at the place and said it is all right to do that. So I want to ask help because it's been about a month and I haven't heard from anyone. So I would like to direct you about that. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Next speaker, Robert Reyes.
Morning, neighbors. How are y'all doing? You know, I'm privileged. I love my country and I love my community. I went to elementary school in Texas, and I'm telling you, my teachers did an amazing job. They taught me how to love my country, love myself, love my community, be productive and be positive and be kind. So it breaks my heart when I see our nation divided because we cannot stand. We'll be divided and we'll fall. And I see the same thing in our community sometimes. And it breaks my heart. We have to stand together. We have to work together and remember what made us great. We're going to celebrate 60 years next year of amazing service in this community without any special assessments. So knock on wood that we continue that financial maturity and success. Now, we've made mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes, and that's fine. We lost over $1 million because we were afraid. So we pulled our money out, and if we had waited just a little bit more, we would have been okay. So we really messed up on that one. But that's okay. We get up and we dust ourselves because we did the right thing. We invested, and we have 5% lock in. I'm doing that when my CDs mature. I'm locking them in, and we're going to be okay. It's always good to assess and evaluate and hold each other accountable. So that's good. I just want us to be kind to each other. There's just too much hatred and anger and false information. And the theater is burning. The theater is burning. Give me facts to see that. Because I've been attending meetings for over a year, and all the concerns that people have brought up this last month could have been answered and addressed if they had been attending the meetings like I had. So let's work together. I finally found what I was looking for all year. As a leader in my profession, mission statements are important, and I found something. We have our mission statement to ensure the Laguna Woods residents receive unparalleled opportunities to enjoy our active life. Our vision is to lead the community with innovative ideas, services developed for the residents. Our core values include mutual respect, safety, integrity, and friendliness. And we have copies of all your comments, your campaign promises, And every 6 months, we're going to come and we're going to read them out to you to see if you're doing a good job, because we believe in every single one of you. I love you, and I love this country, and I love my community. By the way, I'm a docent, and I give tours, 2.5-hour tours to potential residents and new residents that did not take the tour. It's amazing. Thank you.
Next speaker is Elizabeth Romano.
Thank you for your time to follow up on this. I'm looking, and I'm representing the 7,000 residents here, that we cannot get an accounting for our funds. And we have asked for a forensic accounting, and we have not been able to get that. The second thing is the continuing harassment and retaliation that doesn't have a corporate policy on it. And Siobhan, I've talked to her before, and we have no policy. And this is the most important thing, is that we have in that position is corporate compliance, and we don't have that here. That leaves us up to felony charges, using that position to deny us the bully pulpit there, to deny us the request that we have to have a simple accounting for our own funds is ridiculous. Okay, I've contacted the sheriff's department. They're going to contact the district attorney. These are our funds. Okay, this kind of pattern and practice follows you, Siobhan, and it's not okay.
Excuse me, Elizabeth?
Yes. Okay.
Please do
we would
not
like an
name
accounting.
names, okay?
Okay. Yes. Okay. We would like an accounting. We've asked for it. We've asked for it. Okay. I'm asking for it again. I would also like a response to the retaliation and harassment for me, which is the issue of corporate compliance. And really, we need to talk to the attorneys about how important corporate compliance is, and new laws coming down, because this community is out of compliance. So I'm giving you a heads up, and I want to work with all of you to help make sure that we don't end up in a tremendous amount of litigation. Thank you.
Final speaker is Maxine McIntosh.
What a happy morning. I was so pleased to hear that Cash Akwakar behind me on my right had put in 8 years. A lot of people don't know what that all entails, and there's things he's done that probably all of us don't even know about. He had a dynamic garage committee, as we called it. I sat on that committee years ago when I was just learning about all this, and his committee got up at 5 in the morning to go out and count all the empty carport parking places that weren't being used, because we were getting complaints about people saying we don't have enough parking in our cul-de-sac. And we found a couple where that certainly was true. But most of them, people were just parking as close as they could get to their door. So he led that dynamic committee. Thank you so much, Cash, for all your time. At the end of another year for our United Boards of Directors, I have much to be grateful for. Decisions implemented by our board members, and of course, I refer to the ones I personally think were good. I especially will mention the really good working relationship between board and staff. Example, I really appreciate the staff's recent report at a board meeting, and staff gives really good reports once a month at every board meeting. People can tune in at home, maybe, on the money they save for us in much lower costs for purchasing and maintaining our buses. Big savings, thousands and thousands of dollars, which makes it easy on our board when it comes to budget time. They don't have to budget quite as much money to cover that item. And there are many others. We all need to be informed on that, really. GRF runs the bus service. I know I'm mentioning that. But of course, the United and Third board members are required to constantly provide oversight for what GRF spends and does. So that's why I thought this was appropriate to mention it now. We are so fortunate to have our own highly visible VMS instead of the old PCM. I sat on a couple of boards when we were under PCM. I never saw a PCM member. Never. Hardly ever missed a board meeting. Never saw one. I don't know what they were doing for us, and a bunch of us finally began asking questions. What do they do for this, for the thousands of dollars we give them every year? And finally, we insisted someone come to a meeting and I was appalled at how little they did for us. They felt we were doing fine. Apparently, they didn't want to bother us much. And there's so much input from our own I'm saying it wrong now, VMS, that we're very thankful to have our own service now, a group that reports to us at every board meeting and also works without pay. We're not losing $60,000 to $100,000 on VMS, which we would have on PCM. Keeping monthly assessments low, people ask about that all the time. Pardon me. And I want to say my housekeeper told me she lives in a condominium setup, and she said they had their assessments raised $50 a month 3 years in a row. And I said, oh my gosh, you should move to the village. We have all the amenities and you'd be happier here. We have to remember how old our community is and that this board is working very hard to keep costs down. And they do have the relationship they need with the management company. And so things will be going very well. I predict we'll all be quite satisfied if we look at all the records that are being accumulated on what we're doing. Thank you.
And we do have one more speaker, Mary Stone.
Mary Stone, 356C, former director on United, GRF, VMS, also member of the transition team. And I'd like to tell you the reason why we changed from a so-called professional organization to our so-called self-management. It's not because they weren't doing a good job or anything. It's because PCM was sold to Associa. And Associa gave us 17 initiatives that all the boards at that time refused to accept. And we did a study. It took us more than 6 months to study and learn what we wanted to do in this community. And that's how all the boards at that time got together for, God, can't tell you how many meetings, and decided that we would form our own management company. This is a professional management company that is helping us in this community right now. It is not done by self-management. We're not doing the work. The directors aren't managing. The directors are governing. They are directing VMS as a professional community management company, telling them what we want them to do for us. We are saving, because it is a non-profit benefit company, we are saving over $1 million in professional fees. And I thank Siobhan and her whole team for an excellent, excellent job. Thank you.
And that is all for member comments.
All right, with that, we'll go to the responses to member comments. Would any board members like to respond to member comments? Maggie?
Yes, to Maxine. Jerry Storage gave a report every single... Oh, here we go. Jerry Storage was the PCM manager, and he gave a report at every board meeting. Like it or not, he did give a report at every board meeting. He sat right over there and read a report every time. I'd forgotten his name, but it's Jerry Storage. So there was a report. We did switch to our newer self-management program in order to save the extra money that PCM was going to be charging us. So Mary is correct on that. So it was not a pie-in-the-sky thing. So if we can discuss this at agenda prep and see what the board would like to do, that is where that would come from. So I would suggest that we put that for discussion at agenda prep. Thank you.
Allison.
Thank you, Tom. To back up what Mary Stone said, back in 2017, I was also on the board of a condominium in Jacksonville, Florida, waterfront condominium. And we too had a management company that was taken over by Associa, which was in a great expansion mode, acquiring smaller management companies throughout the country. Well, they were based in Texas, and they did not understand all the markets they got into. We, of course, like Laguna Woods Village, were not happy with the outcome and had to seek a new management company. We weren't nearly big enough. Nothing's as big as Laguna Woods Village practically when it comes to size. But we had to find a new management company. It took us 2 years of work to find and contract a new management company, and then that was not ideal. So I would just back up that the experience that you all had then was repeated throughout the country, and we have to really value highly the services that we get from VMS. Remember, we own VMS. VMS is not something out there in the universe circling. We mutually own VMS, and if there are things that have to be improved, it's up to us to improve them. Thanks.
Any other member comments?
Tom, there was a resident who spoke, and we're going to have staff follow up with her this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always appreciated how quickly VMS does respond. Nancy?
Is there a button press here to turn it on? Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I just want to make a general comment to, I believe it was Ms. Romano. There is a process. I'm not asking you to get up and explain what you went through, but there is a process by which residents and all members have right to review our records, and it's supported by the Civil Code. So it starts, I believe, with under GRF, not under United, where there's a document where there's a formal records request form. That kind of is the genesis of where you want to start something. And again, I'm not going to take a response to that or what you went through, but if you haven't started there, that's the place to start, because then it goes into VMS offices, right?
The process starts with VMS in the CEO's office.
So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do that. And if you have any further questions around it, I would direct you to VMS directly, and GM's here.
Any other? Mickey?
I'd just like to thank you all, especially for outgoing members, and we are going to listen to your advice and your learning experience as a new board member. And thank you for the support of the community during the campaign. And I will work for those who support me and not support it, because anyway, our job as a new board member is going to work for the resident and for the corporation, and keep on listening to the current board members and ready to learn and serve. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, with that, just remind you that following this meeting, we'll take a 10-minute break, and then we will go to the organizational meeting. And with that, having completed the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. 2019. The approval of the agenda, could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second? So Director Livatore, Director Quam seconded. Are there any suggested changes to the agenda? Are there any objections to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved by consent. Again, the minutes of last year's meeting are there for reference only. No action is required. So at this time, we'll move to item number 4, the election of officers by opening of nominations, closing of nominations, and vote. So we will be nominating and voting on each board position one at a time. The procedure will be a main motion to open the nomination and voting process. Any board member may make a nomination of another board member, or the board member may nominate themselves. A second is not required to a nomination. Each candidate must either accept or decline the nomination. When there are no more nominations for the position, then nominations will be closed. After the close of the nominations for each position, a secret ballot vote is conducted. The candidate with the highest number of votes is elected. A majority is not required. The results are announced by the corporate secretary. The newly elected officer will take the appropriate chair. This will create some multiple chair movements, especially since we know we have a new president, new first vice president, new treasurer coming. After the new president is elected, the new president will preside over the remainder of this board meeting. And after the nomination process is completed, a motion to close nominations is required. So just a reminder, when we're nominating, to please raise your hand to make and be recognized if you'd like to make a nomination. So at this time, may I have a motion to open nominations and vote? Maggie makes the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Sue seconds. Any objections? Hearing no objections, the motion passes. So we will now open the floor for nominations of president. Georgiana?
I would like to nominate Nancy Carlson.
Nancy Carlson's been nominated. Nancy, do you accept?
Yes, sir, I do.
Any other nominations? Sue?
I would like to nominate Allison. Allison has a wonderful background, and it's very important. We have a $68.5 million budget. She has expertise by serving on finance, and I would feel very comfortable with her moving into this position. Just to give you a little background about her, she has a bachelor.
Sue, I'm not sure if we're campaigning here or not.
Oh,
so
I don't know how you do
I'm
this.
going
This is
to
the
ask
first
to just have nominations only.
Right.
Okay.
And no comments.
All right, I nominate
So,
Allison.
But thank you. So we have nomination of Allison Bach. Allison, do you accept? Okay. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chair, I nominate Director Pearl Lee.
I decline.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations for president are now closed, and we will go to the vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
You're supposed to look at it first. You're supposed to double check.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know the process of this. You guys will have to tutor me here.
At this time, the United Secretary is verifying the corporate secretary's count.
So with those results, we have Allison Bach elected as United Board President with a vote of 7-2.
All right, at this time, I'll ask Allison to take the chair, and I'll turn this meeting over to Allison. So give her a minute to get seated and ready.
Thank you. We'll now open the floor for nominations for first vice president. Do we have a nomination for first vice president? Maggie?
I nominate Sue Quam for first vice president.
Do you accept that nomination?
I do.
Are there other nominations for first vice president? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the vote. Sorry?
It's acclamation if there's nobody else.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Thank you. We'll now proceed to the next office.
You might announce.
If I can, Sue Quam will be first vice president by acclamation, since there's only one candidate. And if I'd have given Allison proper notes, she would have known that.
No, that's all right if I'd read them. So we'll now switch chairs. We have to do a little kabuki this morning. Now we will open the floor for nominations for second vice president. Do we have nomination for second? Maggie?
I nominate Pearl Lee for second vice president.
And Pearl, do you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there other nominations for second vice president? Okay. Hearing none, we can declare Pearl Lee elected as our second vice president. Thank you. And please switch chairs. We'll now open the floor for nominations of board secretary. Do we have Pearl?
I would like to nominate Maggie Blackwell.
Maggie, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Are there more nominations for board secretary?
I nominate Georgiana Willis.
Georgiana, do you accept the nomination? Decline. Thank you. Are there other nominations for board secretary? All right. Hearing none, no other nomination, and a decline, we will deem that Maggie Blackwell is, by acclamation, our new board secretary. The board secretary may now take her chair. We'll now open the floor for nominations of the position of treasurer. Tom?
I nominate Mickey Choi Ho for treasurer.
Mickey, do you accept or decline the nomination?
I do.
Thank you. Are there other nominations for for treasurer? Okay, Nancy, and I assume Nancy accepts that she nominated herself. Thank you. Okay. Are there other nominations? for treasurer? Hearing none, we will now close the nominations for treasurer and go to the vote. The two candidates are Mickey Ho, and we have Nancy Carlson as well.
So with the results, we have Mickey Choi Ho elected as United Board Treasurer with a total of 7-2.
I verified that.
Thank you. Thank you. The treasurer may now take her chair. May I have a motion to close nominations?
So move.
Second? Second, please. Maggie, thank you. Okay, hearing no objections to that?
Nope.
No? Okay, the motion passes. At this point, I'd like to announce the ex officio officers. For 2023, the ex officio officers of United Mutual are Siobhan Foster, Vice President ex officio Carlos Riojas, Assistant Secretary ex officio, and Steve Hormuth, Assistant Treasurer ex officio. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve resolution of the appointment of officers. Maggie?
I move that we approve the appointment of the officers, ex officio officers.
Ex officio officers, thank you. And is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Pearl. The motion, if there is no discussion, passes. Are there any member comments at this time?
Do we need to read the motion?
Okay, would you read the motion? It's just the appointment of the ex officio officers.
Okay. The 2023 ex officio officers are Siobhan Foster, Vice President ex officio, Carlos Rojas, Assistant Secretary ex officio, and Steve Hormuth, misspelled, Assistant Treasurer ex officio. The correct that.
Okay, thank you. And can I announce that that has been now approved and passed? Tom?
I think we need to read Resolution 01-23-XX at the back of the agenda packet.
Okay. All right, thank you. I guess so, yeah.
And I think the corporate secretaries could read it if you want them to.
Yes, okay, the appointment of officers. Resolved on October 10, 2023, pursuant to United Laguna Woods Mutual Bylaws, Article 9, which sets guidelines, terms, and responsibilities for the election of officers to this corporation. The following persons are hereby elected to the office indicated next to their names to serve. Allison Bach serves as president. Sue Kwam is first vice president. Pearl Lee is second vice president. Maggie Blackwell is secretary. And Mickey Choi Ho is treasurer. Resolve further that the following staff persons are hereby appointed as ex officio officer of this corporation: Siobhan Foster, vice president ex officio; Carlos Rojas, assistant secretary ex officio; Steve Hormuth, assistant treasurer ex officio. Resolve further that Resolution 01-2263, adopted October 11, 2022, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are directed on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move this resolution.
Is there a second, Tom? Okay. All right. And may I have a vote, please, on approval of this motion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? None. Motion passes. Thank you. Now we will take member comments. Are there any member comments to be added?
Yes, the first member comment is Juanita Skillman.
Good morning and welcome new board members and new officers. As a former member of this board and former president of this board, I welcome you and I hope that you will do all of your duties as a board member. I have been very disappointed in the last couple of years with the lack of participation of our united board members on the committees that they are assigned to. Each of you will be assigned to probably 2, perhaps more, committees. And it's your responsibility to take part in those committees. Because then when a motion is brought, a resolution is brought to your board, you have put in your due diligence. And that goes with GRF committees as well. It's very frustrating. I currently serve as an advisor on one of the committees. And that committee had to be negated at their last meeting because they did not have a quorum. Only the chairman showed up. As the chairman of a couple of GRF committees, I have this frustrations every month or every time we have a meeting when I don't have united members showing up. So please remember that your responsibilities are not just to attend the monthly board meeting and the monthly agenda prep meeting. Your responsibility is to take part in all of the governance of this community, and that includes committee work. Again, welcome, thank you, congratulations to all our new officers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Gay Page.
Morning. I think we may be out of compliance with our bylaws regarding our last election. And here's my reasoning in this. In looking at our vacancy clause, vacancies can happen for any number of reasons. However, we had an election where there happened to be 5 vacancies at the time of the election. I believe our vacancy clause, which states members, if there is a failure of the members to elect a sufficient number of directors at the meeting or election, that would trigger having this board then having to appoint members. However, during the last election, we had 5 vacancies, but we only filled 4 seats. However, Ellen Leonard was only eliminated by 11 votes, I believe. I think we owe Ellen an apology. I think she should be seated immediately on this board, and that we should follow the rule of the members' election, where they voted in good faith to have board members seated on this Laguna Woods board. Thank you.
Thank you, Gay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
what was the resignation date on the 5th director?
September 29th. Diane resigned on September 29th.
Okay.
The election was September 28th.
Next speaker is Vera Holder.
Madam President and members, thank you. And I'm here to also support looking into Ellen Leonard being placed on this board as soon as possible, as it, according to what we just heard in membership, it's logical. It's not just logical, it's right. It's keeping within due diligence. It makes fiscal sense as opposed to calling another election. The members have voted, 11 votes difference. It will save valuable hours of your time going over applications. You've got little time on your hands anyway when the membership has already agreed to and voted and given their support to this individual. So residents have spoken, valuable hours can be saved, and it makes fiscal sense and responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Vera.
Next speaker is Cash Akrakar.
Well, thank you very much. It was my pleasure to serve the community for the last 8 years, and I'm looking forward to having some good time in my retired stage. Thank you. Have a nice
Thank you, Cash. Thank you.
And final speaker is Maxine McIntosh.
I expect some of the long timers here with more experience even than I, Maggie and Mary and our ex-United president here who works so hard, to correct me if I'm wrong. But the ballot that went out did not say vote for 5. So you can't just say, well, we would like to just go ahead and accept the next person who got the higher number of votes. They can all sign up to be considered for this open position that the board voted on. They all had an equal chance. But you can't just, because you'd like to, or somebody you really like, you want to get on that way. You can't just change the rules. And you cannot change a ballot and say they were elected by ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Maxine.
And that is all.
Thank you. Okay. Comments from board members at this time? Mm-hmm. Yes, Pearl?
My comment is whenever I want all of our United Board work as a team. It's not that we are going for individual credit, even though sometimes you might end up working a lot harder than the others, depends on the assignments. But we are evaluated based on our teamwork and our team spirit, and that is very, very important. I want all of our members to really work as a team, and I'm looking forward to work with the new members. And whatever decisions we make that the members might like or might not like, whether I support it or not support, it's as a team we have to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nancy?
I concur with Pearl. Being a director on a board, and I've served on a number of boards, it's like being a member of a symphony. There has to be harmony within the board, and we kind of listen to the conductor. The other thing I want to comment on is relative to the voting consideration. I received notice from a couple directors well before a week, maybe even 10 days before the termination of the election that there was a vacancy. When a person executed, that constitutes notice, and I think that's recognized under the Civil Code. However, I'm not going to say is for sure or render legal opinion from the dais. And that's my consideration relative to that, how that seat is filled, because in my view, I was noticed. I think there were 5 vacancies. We can determine the rest of it later, but I just wanted to say it on the record.
Thank you, Nancy. Tony?
Thank you, Madam President. Just like to say, I'd like to echo what I've heard here so far, that hopefully we can strive for consensus. There's 11 of us on the board, and if we all work on something, we should be able to come up with something better than any one of us can come up with. So my whole idea is following what's proclaimed in Davis Sterling and Robert's rules, and that is for us to reach consensus. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Maggie?
Thank you. This has happened in the past, and we follow our rules. Our rules say that once the nominations have closed and the vacancies have been discussed, then we have the meeting, and we have people talk, and we pass out the ballots. The ballots are mailed in reliance of this many directors and this many empty seats. If during that time, which is after the closing of nominations, if at that time, if during this time, there is not sufficient notice of the 5th, and there was no communication to the residents of a 5th, because we could not, in the middle of an election, after the ballots have been sent out, switch terms. We can't switch instructions to people. Now, certainly, board members can take that into consideration in deciding the applicants, among the applicants that we have for the now stated vacancy. We can decide on that. We can take the vote, but the vote was not given with the intent of 5. So it's not the same thing. So we will follow what our instructions say, and we will go by our laws and bylaws. Thank you.
Yes, Sue?
I'd just like to thank the past board and the leadership on the past board, because this is a tremendous job and it has tremendous responsibilities. And I really thank you for the time that you committed to this. It was very hard work. It's not easy to perform these duties. And I'll look forward to being tutored by the people in the past and our current board as to how we should proceed in meeting the needs of our people. As I mentioned earlier, this United Board members and our residents collect $68.5 million to operate our section of the village. And this is something that we all weigh very heavily in our consideration of our votes. So please know that we take this very seriously. I certainly take this very seriously, and I'll do my best to represent our residents and to do what is fair and honorable for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. And in conclusion, I would like to say a few things. Going forward, I'm honored to be president of this august organization and this wonderful community and the 60th anniversary of its founding. And this, I hope, will be a stellar year for us going forward. And within the board and on the committees and with relationship to our fellow organizations within the village, with GRF, with VMS, with Third, with Towers, I hope that we always conduct ourselves with civility, that we are cooperative, and we contribute what we can of our talents and time to the organization that we are serving, that we do it with goodwill, with good animus, with a good heart, assuming the best of each other, always the best of each other, not the worst, and not some hidden agendas, but assuming always the worst, and honesty and integrity. There's a word for all of this, and it's collegiality. We are colleagues, and I hope we will all work together as colleagues, colleagues throughout the community and colleagues in the board, whether it's private or whether it's in open session or closed session. We are colleagues, and we are here together to work together. Thank you so much for your confidence in me. I need your help. As you can see, I will need your help every step of the way, and I thank you very much. And with that, I think it is time to adjourn this meeting. Thank you.